Welcome back, everybody. This is our third night, and I'm so happy that you've been with us each of these nights. So tell me, how are you doing? I think we've even seen some pictures that you've posted of some of the projects that you're doing and the crafts that you're having fun with and the things that you're doing with mom and dad. That's really, really exciting. I'm so happy about that. Let me review a little bit. How many jars were there at the wedding of Cana? Do you remember how many jars Jesus turned water into wine? How many were there? Do you remember? Tell mom and dad. 6. That's right. That's exactly right. So how about this? What happened when Jesus said, "Peace be still"? Where was he? On the boat? And there was a big storm? And everything got quiet. That's exactly right. Well, very, very good. Our lesson tonight is also from the Sea of Galilee. It's another time that Jesus is teaching everybody and he is preaching and everyone's real close to him and he spent all day with them and his disciples are with him also. And it gets close to the end of the day and Jesus says, "You go to the other side of the lake." This is the day that he had fed the 5,000. That was another big, big miracle. The 5,000 were there and they didn't have anything to eat. And so Jesus fed them and his disciples gathered up all of the remains of it. And there was more remains than there was even that we started with. But now at the end of the day, Jesus is going to go up to the mountain and he's going to pray. But he told his disciples, "You get in the boat and go to the other side of the Sea of Galilee," just like he did before. So Jesus goes up on the side of the mountain, very quiet, all alone, just him and God, and he prays. That's a good lesson for us, that sometimes we just need to get away where it's quiet and pray. We need to go to God in prayer and talk to him about the things we want him to hear from us and to thank him for all the things that he does for us and pray for all of the sick just in a quiet place. And that's what Jesus does. He goes up on the side of the mountain all by himself and he prays. His disciples did what they were supposed to. They got in the boat and they started going across the lake. Well, just like before, a bit of a storm comes up. It's a strong wind again. It's not described as bad as the other one, but it is making it really hard for them to get across the lake. The wind's blowing against them, and the waves are really high, and they're struggling. It's the middle of the night. It's very, very late when Jesus comes down off of the mountain. He looks out across the water, and he sees them struggling. They're having trouble going against the wind and against the waves. So he just walks out there. He walks right off of the shore onto the water and he keeps walking. And he walks all the way out to where the boat's at. Have you ever been outside sometime? Maybe at night, and you're looking around and you see like a shadow and you're not sure what it was. And it might have been real. Maybe it was an animal running off into the woods. Or maybe it was just a shadow and it frightened you. It scared you until you could figure out exactly what it was. Well, can you imagine if you are the disciples and they're in their boat, they're working really hard against these waves, and then all of a sudden, they see something walking on the water. Now that's not hiding in the bushes or scurrying up a tree. That's out on the water. Nothing is supposed to be on top of the water except a boat. And it's not a boat. They can see. You know something? They think it's a ghost and they are terrified. They are scared, just like you and I would be. I would be very, very frightened if I saw something walking on top of the water, coming across it toward the boat. They're terrified. Jesus says, "Don't be afraid. It's just me. Whew, the disciples are happy that it's just him. They're happy to see him, but they're still amazed. Jesus is standing on the water. He's been walking across the whole sea to get to them. And now he's just standing there on the water. Peter is so amazed. He says, Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come out. Peter's all excited. Wouldn't you be? Wouldn't that be exciting for Jesus to say, okay, Peter, come on out. You walk on the water with me. So Peter does. Peter gets out of the boat. He steps on the water and he can stand on it. And he walks across the water and he's almost to Jesus, but there's still waves and there's still wind. And he scares him. Jesus is right there. The boat's back there. And he starts to sink. He starts to go under and he yells out to Jesus, Lord, save me. And Jesus reaches down and picks him up out of the water, and they both get in the boat, and everything is good. And the disciples are amazed. But that's not really the end of the story. They're out there in the middle of the lake with the wind howling and the waves crashing, and Jesus gets in the boat with Peter, and immediately they are on the other side of the lake at the dock. A miracle. Lots of miracles. Jesus walked on water. Peter walked on water. The winds and the waves stopped, and the boat was on the other side of the lake. Amazing. Jesus is always in control. Jesus is always the source that we can go to for help. We can always cry out to him, and we can always be sure that if we say, Lord, save us, that he is able to do that. If we obey him, if we do what he says, if we are always following Jesus, then we can always be sure that he will reach out and he will save us. So I hope that as you do this project and you make your little figures stand on the water, you'll be reminded that Jesus can save you. Even if the things around you seem crazy, just like the storm last night or the winds tonight, if you are listening to Jesus, you're going the right direction. Jesus can save you. So tomorrow's going to be our last night. Be sure to be here. I'll see you then.
Hey everybody, welcome to our third night of VBS. I'm so glad that you're here with us. We are going to do a craft tonight of Jesus walking on the water. Can you imagine seeing somebody walking on the water? That would scare me. So the things you need tonight is you need some scissors, you need some blue Jell-O, some glue, 3 popsicle sticks, and you should have a couple pictures, one of Jesus and then the one of the boat, okay? And some crayons. You will also have this piece of paper showing you Jesus walking on the water. And you, again, can color that later on in your own time. Okay, so first thing you need to do is we're going to color our little pictures, okay? Let's see, what song do we want to sing tonight? How about This Little Light of Mine? I like that song. So let's sing that one. This little Christian light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little Christian light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little Christian light of mine, I'm going to let it shine all the time, let it shine. Hide it under the bushel, no, I'm going to let it shine. Hide it under the bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under the bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine all the time, let it shine. Don't let Satan it out, I'm gonna let it shine. Don't let Satan it out, I'm gonna let it shine. Don't let Satan it out, I'm gonna let it shine all the time, let it shine. Okay. So I've got my 2 pictures colored. And now what you need to do is carefully take your scissors and cut out around them. You do not have to make this in detail, okay? So just cut out around them because you need some extra space to make sure you have enough room for some glue. Be very careful. It's dangerous working with scissors, so go very slow. Go out around their bodies, just like that. And you're going to do the same thing with your boat. You're going to go all around the boat. And if you are a little behind, you're welcome to pause it and start again. Okay, so now you have your boat and your Jesus. You want your glue, and Jesus is walking on the water. So you need to put some glue on the back of Jesus. And look and see, how tall is your stick with your Jell-O? Measure it a little bit. So we're going to put Jesus right up here on the top, okay? So it goes right here. And then you're going to take him, this is the cool part, you're going to take him and you're going to stick him down inside the Jell-O. Just like that. Now, you're going to do the same thing with the boat. And then you're going to put it just the same way, right on top of the stick, just like that. And put it in the back. There you go. You can always scoot your paper down just a little bit so it's touching the Jell-O. And then you're going to take your other picture, put a little bit of glue. Now, he came out to walk on the water too when he saw Jesus. So you're going to have to move him a little bit further down the stick because he started losing faith. He started getting scared, right? So he's going to need to go down inside the water just a little bit. He starts to sink and Jesus pulls him up. Just like that. Now you have Jesus walking on the water. I think that is a really cool craft. Now when you're done, you can eat your Jell-O. All right, you guys have a great time tonight making your crafts, and I'm so glad that you're with me every night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.